Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Will with Schedulefly, and man, I'm really excited today. I've got Teddy Bourgeois on the phone, and Teddy is a bartender at Buxton Hall in Asheville, North Carolina, and this place is phenomenal. In fact, if you go to our website, if you go to schedulefly.com and click on I think it says books, films, and podcasts. Click there, you'll see our films. We did one called The Pitmaster, and that's with one of the co-owners at Buxton Hall, Elliot Moss. And we made a really cool film about him. We watched him cooking whole hog barbecue overnight and smoking his hogs, and it was really cool. The food there is awesome. The atmosphere there is awesome. It's a really neat place run by a great group, the folks from Chai Pani there in Asheville. So they were kind enough to, when I asked them, who are some of your best staff who love what they do and are great at what they do and can articulate it really well. Well, Teddy was the guy. So Teddy, thank you, man, very much for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Will. Yeah, happy to be here.
So tell me about your history in the hospitality business.
Sure. Well, I grew up in Massachusetts, graduated college out in Berkshire County, out in Western Mass in the mountains, and then moved to Boston. And I was working for a nonprofit theater company there, and it was fun and really interesting, but not super lucrative. So I took a part-time gig running food at a little pub in Somerville, Massachusetts, outside the city, and from there just sort of caught the bug. It made a lot more sense to take a full-time job waiting tables there than it was staying at the theater. So moved from there and then onto the bar, and been in it ever since. About 10 years now.
10 years now. Okay, so caught the bug, more lucrative, a lot of fun, a lot of stuff going on all the time. How long have you been then down in Asheville?
We've been in Asheville for about 4 years, but 6 years in North Carolina. Our first 2 years were up in Boone.
Yes.
Yeah, did some grad school up at App State, and then while I was there, I ran a bar program at a sushi restaurant called Kobo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in school full time and running this bar full time, and realized that I enjoyed the bartending a lot more than I I did the school. So I figured when we moved to Asheville, I just kept at it.
Nice. Okay. So I don't know a lot about Massachusetts, but I've been in North Carolina my whole life, and if you made your way to Boone first and then Asheville, you're doing it right, man. Two great places for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, folks, for those of you that don't know the area, Boone, Asheville, both in the North Carolina mountains. Boone's a beautiful town, and Asheville is probably most of you've heard of Asheville. Just my goodness, Asheville has just become like this phenomenal place. All kinds of stuff happening there. Great independent restaurants, great breweries. Just a neat vibe going on in Asheville, man. It really is a cool place for sure.
Yeah, it's wild. And even, I mean, I started visiting Asheville maybe 5-6 years ago, before we moved down here. And even in that time, even in the time that we've lived in Asheville the last 4 years, just the way that it's blown up has been really interesting to watch. Just a wild amount of growth. It just presents this amazing scene for food and drink. Like at this point in this town, you really can't afford to do it wrong. We've got so many breweries. You can't afford to make bad beer in this town.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's getting tougher and tougher to find a bad drink and a bad meal, which is just, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome.
No, it really is. And y'all's group is doing a lot of that and leading the way on a lot of that. Did you, so when you came to Asheville, did you start with Buxton Hall or the Chai Pani group, or how long have you been over there?
I've been at Buxton for 2 years. So
Okay.
the restaurant's celebrating its third birthday this month.
Mm.
On August 28th will be the third birthday. So I wasn't on the opening staff. I applied when they first opened, and didn't make the cut, but I was persistent. I had a feeling that Buxton was going to be doing some rad things, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I just kept nudging them until the time was right.
Oh, that's good, man. Well, there you go. So there's something for knowing what you want and having some persistence, man. I like that. People give up a little easily sometimes, but that's good to know. You you realize that was going to be a good opportunity, so you stayed on it, huh?
Yeah, yeah, just kept checking in. Yeah, over the course of a year, and then when they had an opening, I jumped at it and didn't look back. I mean, it's been rad. At Buxton itself, and then the Chai Pani group has been absolutely awesome. It's just there's good people at the helm of this thing, and you can really sense it. And it's an extremely entrepreneurial group, so there's always something new going on, and just supporting that, like supporting a sort of culture of uh, experimentation and just trying new things from the ground up. So they've been completely supportive of all the stuff that myself and the rest of the bar team has wanted to try. So it's just been rad, super rad.
What is some examples of that? Like, what are some of the things that you guys have tried that they've supported?
Well, first, I mean, our bar manager and I started. We did a Buxton Presents series for a while, where about once a month we were bringing in breweries and chefs from different areas of the country. We did one from, for example, we did one from Atlanta. So brought in some food from Atlanta, a bunch of beer from Atlanta, and just had basically like Buxton presents what's going on in this city, which was really fun. We did one with some folks from Philadelphia. That was really great. So we had some beer from Pennsylvania, brought in a chef that our restaurant had a relationship with. He cooked some of his food. So it's just an opportunity for us to sort of help people that, we can't all get to these different places in the country, but there are markets that are doing rad stuff. So why don't we try to bring a little bit of that to Asheville? And that was really fun. I mean, we had this just
really
a little,
cool.
had this little idea, and it was just a green light from the go. And it was so fun.
When did y'all do that, and when are you doing it? Are you going to do it again, or I mean, that's really awesome.
Yeah, different iterations of that are happening all the time. Especially with the connections that Buxton and Elliot made through the Bon Appetit. When the first year the restaurant opened, we were in Bon Appetit's top 10 new restaurants of the year, and so through that group, met a lot of rad people. So we'll do, we have a really neat mezzanine space at Buxton, so it's just a real turnkey sort of place to do some pop-ups, which has always been fun. Keep things fresh. Give some of the chefs and bartenders in the restaurant an opportunity to kind of spread their wings a little bit. There's so many talented people that work for this restaurant and have their own ideas and their own concepts. So giving them an opportunity to sort of spread their wings past the pit and past gallons of collards and green beans and really show people what they can do, and bring people from other markets that are doing some rad stuff to town. Is we're always doing stuff like that. It's really fun.
What if I have a lot of respect for Elliot and Marijuana. I know Marijuana a little bit better. We interviewed him for our last book, and I got to know him pretty well. And I know those are not the only two. There's a lot of great folks leading that team there. But what have you learned from the folks at the group there since you've been there? Things that have really been important to you that you've gleaned from them or learned from them?
Oh wow, yeah. Both of these guys are really super humble, and when you say, like, when people find out that Buxton is this Eastern Carolina barbecue restaurant is part of an Indian street food restaurant group, people there's a lot of raised eyebrows when you first mention like what this partnership looks like. But at the end of the day, you've got two self-taught chefs who are cooking comfort food from their hometowns.
Boom.
So
that's right.
Just understanding that, and then people say, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense." So understanding where that from where that partnership was born was really cool, and just the humility that's ingrained in both of their styles and in the culture of this restaurant, and it's just really nice to have a group that understands the reverence for the opportunity to serve people, which has always been a part of something that I've really enjoyed is like that you want to come to this place that we work, that you want to eat this food, that you want to, drink these cocktails, you want to be here is flattering and really neat. So it's trying to meet people with that and come to the opportunity of service with the, with that understanding that, we really appreciate that you're here and we want to be able to show that to you. And that's just part of the hospitality philosophy for this group, which has just been really, really awesome and refreshing and energizing, because it can be, draining to do service day in and day out, but, constantly knowing that, like, and being reminded that this is an awesome opportunity that we have to really, show people a really good time, is really, really fun. So.
Well, you said reverence. I think that's and you can tell that, and that's, you can tell that when you're there, that is. I mean, and you can tell that when you speak to either of those guys, that it's, they view it as an opportunity and not taking anybody for granted. And, man, the humility I completely agree with as well. I mean, Marwan, I know as busy as he is, I'll text him every now and then to ask him about something. And, I mean, God, I think he was in Europe or something or somewhere overseas last month, and he responded like quickly. He's like, I'm overseas. And I was like, dude, why you even? But I mean, they're just, you really learn a lot from folks like that just go above and beyond to take care of the folks around them and care about relationships with folks around them for sure.
And care about their people, which is really neat. There's the restaurant industry and particularly people in service that can be, for a lot of people, it can be a sort of in between. I'm gonna wait tables for a while I'm planning my next move.
Yeah.
But from the moment I joined up with this group, they were asking, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you want to be doing? How can we support you? How can we make sure that that if you want to make a career in this industry, this is the restaurant group you can do it in, which was just, it blew my mind. Most other places that I've worked, like the fact that I would be leaving at some point was sort of a foregone conclusion. So with this restaurant, I really feel and have felt from the get at home, which is awesome.
Well, when you're part of a group like that is growing and has that entrepreneurial drives and trying new things and opening new concepts, the sky's the limit really with opportunities to grow within that organ, especially when there's so much room for creativity. Just a wonderful organization to be a part of, I know, for you. What do you love the most about what you do as a bartender?
Well, I love not being behind a desk. Yeah. for sure. I mean, I did that for a while, and it certainly wasn't for me. So it's the opportunity to be on your feet. It's the opportunity to work as a team. I've done a lot of things where you just feel like you have a job where you feel like you're in a silo. But when a restaurant is working well, it's because everybody's working in concert, because, everybody's on the same page and things just click. Like if it's going well, it's really tangible, and it's because all these people are working together, and you can really sense that, and I love that. So you're really in the trenches with these people, so you build strong bonds with your team and your coworkers, and I've really, really enjoyed that in every place that I've worked. I've developed some of the best friendships I've ever had working in restaurants. I met my wife working at a restaurant, so that's really, really fun. And just making people happy. That's what we do for a living. We get to make people smile for a living, and that's that direct feedback that people appreciate what you're doing is what's kept me doing it as long as I have.
Especially when you're serving drinks, man. What's your favorite drink to make?
Oh my God, probably a can of Budweiser.
I hear you, man. It's funny. I've heard that kind of stuff before. Well, keep it simple, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of different, experimental and wacky out there cocktails, and I still like to nerd out on that stuff. But at the end of the day, a simple classic drink, a daiquiri or a Negroni, old fashioned,
Yeah.
the things that haven't been broken for a long time and need no fixing and never will. Those are the drinks I always gravitate towards.
Yeah, if it's been around that long, it's for a reason, right? That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. What is so? I mean, do you have long-term plans? I mean, I know that there's probably a lot of folks, I would imagine, that come through there and may go off to do their own thing one day, which I would imagine that is also supported with the kind of philosophies that they have there. Have you thought long-term about what you may want to do?
I've been thinking long term about it for a long time. And there is this trajectory that you see a lot of people going on where they do some good work for somebody else, and then eventually they go and do their own thing. I think I've worked long enough and for enough people to know that heavy is the head that wears the crown. And I don't know that I'd ever want to open my own spot, but what I have probably enjoyed most about bartending is, and especially in a town like Asheville where there's so many new places opening up, and so the need for educated staff is very real. So the need for training people, not only in the technical skills of cooking food and making drinks, but in standards of service is a big part to make sure that our, not only our restaurant, but that Asheville as a whole, like the market for restaurants in here remains solid and remains a reason why people want to come here and continue to pay my mortgage. So educating new people has always been a really fun part and a really rewarding part of the work that I've done. So I can see, I feel like I see myself in more of a mentorship and educational role for a restaurant or a restaurant group at some point when I want to completely step off from behind the bar. But as long as my knees will take it, I'll try to stay behind the stick as long as I can in some regard.
That probably can wear you out sometimes, I guess. Like that.
For sure.
Absolutely, man. Well, dude, Teddy, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know you're a busy guy, but you clearly have a lot of passion for what you do. You work for a great organization in a great town, and so your enthusiasm is contagious, man. And I love talking to you, and just really appreciate the opportunity to learn from you and talk to you and share your story, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Will. Thanks. Yeah, this is fun.
All right, man. Hey, we'll catch up again soon. I'm going to try to actually get to Asheville in the next 3 or 4 weeks. I'm going to come rap with Marijuana about a couple of things. So when I do, I'll make sure to connect, make sure I'll come by. And, dude, I would love for you to pour me an old-fashioned if you're around that day.
Hey, man. Yeah, you know where to find me. So.
All right, man. All right, thanks, Teddy. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too, Will. Thanks.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.